Live. We are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my launch episode of Let's Talk Live Shopping. And anybody who knows me knows that this is a very, very happy day for me because I have been screaming from the rooftops. I have been singing the praises of what live shopping can do for e-commerce brands, big and small, tiny little mom and pop shops, independent inventors, all the way up to the big boys for so long, big boys and girls. Don't want to get in trouble for that one. But I've just been such an advocate and such a believer in live shopping for so long. If you have never met me before, I am Marcy McKenna. And so welcome everybody, wherever you guys are tuning in from. And we are simulcasting all over the place. I'm going to say actually multicasting is the term nowadays. So we are on LinkedIn. So welcome everybody on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We are on X. What have I forgotten? I think that's it. I think we've covered our bases, but welcome wherever you are tuning in from. I am so glad you're here because I am so beyond excited about live shopping, and I have so much to share with all of you guys that I had to create this series because I have way too much. I do these webinars. I get asked to speak on live shopping all the time, and I do them and they're about an hour. And I think, oh my gosh, I've just barely scratched the surface of what I want to share with all of you, with all of e-commerce brands. And then there's a whole another boatload of things I want to share with influencers and hosts and people that are thinking about, kind of transitioning from traditional influencer world to live shopping, because it is a whole different world. And I mentioned that partially because if you're an e-commerce brand thinking about doing live shopping and wondering who's going to host your show, that's going to be a whole show in of itself that we're going to talk about that and influencers and all of that. But we have a lot of ground to cover, and that's why I'm so happy to be doing this every week. It is going to be 30 minutes. We're going to keep it tight. So today it's going to be kind of an introduction to the show and what you guys can expect, and to me, and then also letting, kind of giving you the rundown, just kind of the high level of what is happening this year, 2025, in live shopping in the US and globally. It has gotten so exciting, I should say, almost overnight in the US. I mean, we are lagging big time behind the rest of the world. Everybody else has been doing this forever. Not forever, but since 2000, I believe it was 2016, the very first in China when they did it, the first one, and it was what, $17 billion they did in revenue in 24 hours. And so that was the light bulb moment, I think, for everybody out there. Let's see. Hello from Connecticut. We've got a lot of people chiming in the chat, and I'm so glad you are chiming in the chat because that reminds me, a little bit of housekeeping. When we are doing this show, wherever you are tuning in from, the chat that you guys are seeing is on the platform that you're on. So you're seeing the YouTube chat if you're on YouTube, you're seeing Facebook if you're on Facebook. I, on the other hand, and my wonderful moderator, Jen, she's much more than a moderator, but for the purposes of this event, she's the moderator. We're seeing it all. And so we're going to try to get to every question, every comment, everything. I do my best to do that. So keep them coming because I love that. And that's what makes live shows so much fun, is that we get to kind of real time interact with each other. So definitely don't be shy. Say hi so I know where you're tuning in from. I am seeing Sherry here with Gentle Style Brush. Let me know your product. If you are an e-commerce brand or an inventor getting ready to launch a product, I want to know that too. I'd also kind of like to know from you guys, who's already doing live shopping? Is anybody tuned in right now that is already doing live shopping? Or is this something that you're hearing a lot about and you kind of want to learn a little bit more about it before you dive in? Maybe you're thinking of kind of dipping your toes in it and checking it out. You may have heard Gary Vee. Many of you guys know Gary Vee. He has been everywhere talking about live shopping and basically just saying, e-commerce brands, if you guys are not diving in right now, you are missing out and you are going to be left behind. This is what the consumers are wanting. It's what they're demanding. And guess what? It's working. That's the best part about this, is it's so much fun for both the brands and the consumers, and it's working. And we're going to go into some of those statistics, but I also want to mention that on, kind of what to expect on every show. And so because it's only 30 minutes, I may end up changing that to an hour, because if you know me, I got a lot to say. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But for starters, so what you can expect on every show is I'm going to be covering it all. And so each show will kind of have a different topic, whether it is the different platforms that are out there. Where should you be going live? Your own website versus Facebook Live and Instagram Live. Who should be hosting it and how should they be hosting it? What are the tools that are out there that can make it easier? How do you market your show? All kinds of stuff we are going to cover. So there will be no stone left unturned. And if you have specific questions for me outside of the show, you can always contact me on my website, marcymckenna.com. And I love that because that could be a show topic for the next week or the following week. So all of that is only going to make this show better. So either put it in the chat here or visit my website for sure. So we are going to cover a topic. We're also going to cover a success story on every show, one success story. And I have a boatload of them. I have been keeping so many from all the different live shopping platforms because I think that's one of the barriers that so many e-com brands and product entrepreneurs, what's kept them from jumping in is this just a fad? Does this really work? And then the other thing that happens that I'm so happy to have this platform to talk about is that some brands will get started and they'll quit after the first show. So there's a real misconception around live shopping about what it is and what the value is and what to expect when you do go live. How many shows do you need to do before you are going to start to see the results that you're hearing about? So we're gonna really dive into that because I really do have a goal of educating everybody to know what to expect so that you're not disappointed out of the gate. And then so that you realize when different milestones are going to happen throughout your live shopping journey and how to speed those up and how to fast track yourself to success with live shopping. And so I'm just going to dive right into some of the statistics so you guys kind of know what's happening around live shopping right now. And so let's just start with this year in the US. The original estimates for how much revenue was going to happen within the year 2025 was, well, it actually started at first time I checked, it was 58 million. Then they kind of reworked it. It went up to 68, billion. Then it went up to 68 billion. And most recently, they just adjusted it again to 90 billion. And I'm guessing that that's going to continue to happen again and again before this year is over. And it's probably going to be way higher than 90 billion. What I have seen, and I've been studying live shopping for years. Actually, I would say probably 2018 is when I really started honing in on it and just really diving deep because I was watching what was happening in Asia and it was remarkable and it still is. It's incredible, the trajectory in Asia with live shopping. And granted, there's different cultural things that happen that might not work here and things that work here that might not work there, but everybody's kind of finding their way. It's having tremendous success in the UK, in Europe. It is e-commerce right now. And we are, like I said, we are catching up big time. The other thing, a statistic that I recently saw that I loved was that 82% of consumers, they just did a survey, I think it was 100, kind of random consumers, 82% much prefer live content from brands over static or video content. They want it live. And I have to believe in this sort of disconnected world. In a way, we're too connected, but in a lot of ways, we're disconnected because, with all the technology, we're not around humans very often. It seems like we used to go to the in-person meetings and all that. That's not happening the way that it used to. And so we're craving that interaction. We're craving that personal connection. And when you attend a live shopping event, if you have not attended one, I cannot encourage you enough to do that, which reminds me that would be tomorrow night. I'm doing a live shopping event with Grommet Live. So if you've never seen one, I'd love to invite you to that. And I'm going to make sure Jen puts the link to that event in the chat. We've been doing Grommet Live for a couple years. It's a weekly live series. It's a ton of fun. Why did I bring that up? Now I'm blanking. Oh, gosh. Jen, well, somebody in the chat, what was I talking about? Anyway, Candy's saying, yes, she does know Gary Vee. He's amazing. He is amazing. Hello, and Sam is here with, oh, we featured Sam's product, Batterix, on Grommet Live. And so this, as I'm checking out the chat, I'm realizing that I didn't go into my history for those who don't know me. So I do want to hit on that real quickly right here, because you're probably thinking, Grommet Live, what? So I am kind of uniquely qualified to host this show because I have looked at live shopping from so many different angles, because I am a brand. I'm an e-commerce brand. I have my own product line. I've actually had this product line right now. It's exclusively at HSN. You guys know HSN QVC, most of you, I would imagine. And if you know that world at all, you know that there's a lot of change, exciting things happening with QVC and HSN. So I can't wait to share more of that with all of you guys. But that's really where I started with live shopping. And so that was 14, 15 years ago. So both with my product on there, but then of course, when you have your product on, you're actually hosting alongside the HSN host or QVC. I've been at both. And then as I started watching live shopping in Asia and Europe and everywhere else that was happening, I really wanted to dive into this modern world of live shopping. And so that's really more what we're talking about here. And so I started hosting on Amazon Live. So I've been hosting on Amazon Live for years. Pinterest TV, I consulted with several of the big social media platforms, many the ones that you guys are on right now, about their live shopping initiatives, and kind of helped give them insight from the brand perspective, but also from the host perspective. And so because I continue to be in both the brand world and the host world, I am seeing it from all the different angles. I'm seeing the challenges that each one of them have, and I have really come up with solutions to those challenges. I feel like I've finally kind of figured out this well-oiled machine that not only makes it easy to go live and to do live shopping, but I know the benefits because I've been doing it so long. I've seen them firsthand that you can get when you start a live shopping initiative. And the hardest part of all of this has been that for years, I've been pulling my hair out trying to tell brands what's there, but I think everybody's been scared and wondering if it's a fad. It's not a fad, it is here to stay. And so this, now I finally have so many people unsolicited coming to me saying, can you tell me a little bit more about live shopping? And so that's what I'm here to do. And so just, kind of wanted to give you guys that background for a minute there. But let me just hit on some of those statistics around live shopping, not just, how the revenue kind of a thing, but what are all those statistics that you're hearing? What can it do for your business? And then I want to hit on a couple little kind of hidden benefits that I have found in my own business that I really want to scream about from the rooftops, because I personally feel like it's those hidden benefits that nobody's talking about, that nobody's thinking about, that is where the real true value lies when it comes to live commerce and live shopping. And so what are the obvious ones? Many of you on here may already know those. You are seeing 10 times conversions with live shopping. So whatever your current conversion rate is, I think the industry standard right now on static, just, website or product listing pages is somewhere between 2 and 3%. And we're seeing conversion rates going as high as 30%. I'll tell you, when I do my Amazon Live events, typically my conversions are somewhere between 15 to 25% in there. So that's significant right there. And I scratch my head and think, if brands know this, why aren't they doing it? Why would they want to convert at 2% when they could be converting at 20%? And so that's, again, one of my great hopes with the show, is that you guys will start to understand all of these facts and give it a go. I'm seeing so many of my grommet brands on here that I have featured. I love it, love it, love it. I'm seeing Neuro Socks. We have Donna Marshall in the house. We've got Bandy Wear, who I have featured so many times. Love, love, love these products, and a whole bunch more. But I want to keep going because I know my time is limited here. But so we talked about 10x conversions. How about average order value? That is a KPI right now for so many brands. The big. In fact, I can tell you, I remember being in an all company HSN meeting not long ago, and that's what we talked about for almost the whole time, is average order value. And theirs is already so strong because of the nature of live shopping. Live shopping just lends itself to doubling and tripling average order value. And I always give the example, I do a lot of beauty shows, and I'll give the example of, if I'm selling foundation, let's say. I'm putting on the foundation, showing them how that works. And then I say, but really, if you want to get that flawless foundation look, you got to try this foundation brush because it has the best of the best bristles and it gives you that blur that you're after. And then if you want contouring, look at this contour stick and look at how it complements that foundation. It really gives you those cheekbones that we're all after. I could go on, but I think you understand how you could go from just someone just buying the foundation to suddenly buying 5 or 6 items to go with that foundation. And I find in my own shows on HSN, on, Amazon Live or whatever shows I'm doing, as soon as I start talking about gifting and giving them ideas of how they can gift it and who they can gift it to, it goes from 1 item in the cart to 5 items in the cart. And because they're hearing that from you, and that is, they just need that prompting, and you can't get that prompting from a static listing page the way you can from live shopping. I want to show you a slide that I think is really important when we're looking at why it's so successful and why it has been so successful for years everywhere else. And that is this one right here. I believe that live shopping really takes the best of e-commerce and the best of brick and mortar and brings them together in this perfect cocktail that brings about these results that we're talking about. And so what I mean by that is, in e-commerce, the best of e-commerce is the fact that you can reach anybody across the world 24/7, anytime. The reach is endless and it is immediate. The challenge with e-commerce is that the conversion rates are traditionally so low, as we just talked about, 2 to 3%, not great. Then you look at brick and mortar, and where they're, flying high is their conversion rates, because people are walking into the store, they're being greeted by a sales professional, concierge kind of service. They're getting to touch things, try them on, feel the material, ask questions, all of that. So their conversion rates are high, but they're so limited with their reach. And so what live shopping does is it gives the viewer that tactile, that personal one-to-one feeling of walking into a store. And then at the same time, it's giving the brand that unlimited geographic reach that they can get to anytime, any place, 24/7. It's pretty exciting. And so that's where this is coming from. I'm going to keep going with a few of these statistics. The other one that's happening that I have seen firsthand, I mean, it's really quite amazing at QVC and HSN. And so it's really very proven over there, but people are finding it now on Amazon and everywhere, I mean, on all the platforms, is return rates. And return rates are going down by up to 50% almost immediately. And if you're on Amazon or anywhere else, you know that those return rates can absolutely kill your business. And you also know that bad reviews can absolutely kill your business. And not enough good reviews can kill your business. Sadly, we are living in an e-commerce world that consumers, they look at 2 things right now. They're looking at price and they're going for that lowest price, and they're looking at reviews and they're going for the highest review. And so what live shopping does in my mind is, number one, I'm tying this back to the return rates, because the return rates are going down. And when that happens, the positive reviews go up. So what's happening is, when you're live, you're able to explain exactly how to use the product, exactly how not to use the product, what it's good for, what it's not good for. They're able to see the actual size and ask questions about it and understand the functionality before the product ever arrives. So by the time it gets to their door, they are signed, sealed, delivered. They know exactly what they're getting and they're loving it because they know how to use it. So that's why return rates are going down. And then the other thing that's happening is they're connecting with you. And so they're getting to know you, and, really creating that authentic connection makes them want to write a review. When they get that email from you or from Amazon saying, what'd you think of the product? They're going to take the time to actually write that review because they know you. And so that is priceless. Cannot put a price on that. And yet so few brands that start in live shopping ever think to look at why all of a sudden are their product reviews going up and their returns going down. Live shopping does that. And it's, again, been proven time and time again. Oh gosh, I'm missing so many of the comments in the chat. At the end, we're going to do 5 minutes of Q&A, and Jen is keeping tracks of everything so that I will be able to get to as many as possible. And if I don't, I'm going to look at the chat after the show, and I'm going to respond inside the description on the different channels that we're on. So not to worry, I will definitely get to everything one way or another. Let's see what else I was going to tell you about statistics that just look at my slide really quickly to see where we were. Okay, we talked about positive reviews. We talked about average order spend, fewer returns. Oh, here's one I really wanted to hit on. SEO ranking. I mean, it is it's an important one to all of you, I know. And yet feels so out of reach. It's this thing that we're constantly chasing, trying to figure out algorithms and how do we get our SEO ranking up. And live shopping, oh gosh, it drives me crazy when people can't see the forest through the trees with this one. Guess what happens when you host a live shopping event on your own website? The average watch time on Grommet Live right now, I looked, I think at the last show, I think it was 27 minutes. Average time on page on a typical website is about 2 to 3 seconds. They're in, they're out. If you have a live shopping event going on your page, they're going to be there at least a few minutes. So that is increasing their time on page, your time on page exponentially. And that has very good effects with Google and SEO without you having to pay for it. And the reason for that is because they're looking at, if people are staying on your website for that much time, this must be quality content. And so they are paying attention to that, and you're going up in the SEO rankings. And then in addition to that, it's fresh content constantly, because if you're doing live shopping, hopefully you are doing it consistently. And so it's constant fresh content. And then the other thing, oh, okay, Jen's reminding me of my time. See, I get talking. It's just hard for me. Okay, so I'm not going to give you any more of those benefits. You're going to have to come back next week for the benefits, because there's more. There's so many to give. I wanted to just quickly hit on one success story, because I promised you guys that, and then we're going to get into the Q&A. And that is from a live shopping platform that I'm a huge fan of, and they know it. I let them know all the time. I actually have done a couple webinars with them. Really, really fun. But I love the people behind this one. And I also really love the platform itself, the technology. And that is, it's actually a platform out of Denmark, and it's called Spree. Now, I was just reading a success story the other day that really caught my eye. If I haven't already posted about it, I know I'm getting ready to post about it. And that is, it's a pet product brand. So a small brand out of Denmark. That's, I think it's a husband and wife team. And they started with live shopping kind of in the very beginning, and they're, a new company. And what they've done with it, and they're a brick and mortar. And that's why I actually wanted to, they're both now, but I wanted to highlight that because I think live shopping is maybe even more valuable for brick and mortar. So many, traditional retailers are quaking in their boots right now because of what's happening with e-commerce. And I'm seeing stores closing down constantly. And then I read these success stories like the one I'm talking about now. And there are a couple other ones that I can point to from Spree that I recently read as well, where live shopping is turning those stores around like gangbusters, revenues far surpassing what they ever did in their store. Because suddenly they're opening that spigot and the whole world is now in their store, and they're just going live from inside their store. And so this one particular pet product brand, in this one live event, I think they were live for about 90 minutes, they sold 2,300 bags of dog treats, which they could have never dreamed of doing that. 2,300. They had 22,000 views in this hour and 30 minutes. And perhaps best of all is they had 2,000 people sign up for their email subscriber list. We all know how difficult it is to get people to sign up. I have a lot of tips and tricks to grow your email list exponentially with live shopping. It is the single fastest way to grow your email list and to grow it with targeted audiences, not just random, but people that actually are interested in what you're selling. And so again, that'll be a whole nother show, but it's a big, big benefit of live shopping. And there's lots of ways to do that. So I just wanted to highlight that because, and again, on every show, I'm going to highlight another success story like that because I want you guys to understand what's possible. And my dream is that your wheels are spinning. And when you hear one of these success stories, you'll think, oh, I could do that, would work with my brand or my store or my whatever it is that you're selling. Because it's really fun seeing what's happening, how creative people are getting with live shopping. I love it because there are no rules. There is no instruction manual of the way it has to be. So people are experimenting and having fun with it. And the results are showing that the consumers are loving it. So super, super cool. And let's see, I've got Candy has a question all the way in Alaska. There are many live shopping channels out there now. When I took your course before, it was for Market Live, which is still out there. And I think still a really good option. But they have changed. What is the better one now? I want to be able to have guests to interview during my lives if that makes a difference for platforms. Candy, that is such a good question. It's probably the question that I get asked second most. I'll say second most, because there are so many platforms out there and there are so many different ways to go live, whether you're going to go live on your own website and then simulcast to all the websites, the different social channels out there, the Facebook and Instagram and all of that, like I'm doing right now. And so there are tools to allow you to do that. Right now, I'm using a tool that I've been using for years called Restream. And so that allows you to do that. In my mind, kind of the perfect cocktail is your website, because I want you to get that time on page. I want you to get that SEO ranking going up and fresh content and the fact that your website can become kind of a destination, a community, a place where people go to not only learn about your product, but if you're doing live shopping right, you're doing more of an infotainment kind of a live shopping event. So you're teaching them something, they're having a good time when they're there, so they come back again and again and again. And so being there, but then simulcasting to the different, really important to know who your audience is, who that target customer is, and where they hang out, where they take in content. And those are the channels, obviously, that you're going to want to be on. And so that is my recommendation. There are platforms that Spree is a good example of that, where they do it on their website. And then at the same time, they're going simulcasting to Facebook and Instagram, I think are the two that Spree does now. So lots of options, and we're going to, over time, get into all of them. And I'm not going to be shy about making my own personal recommendations on this show because I want to give you guys the straight scoop. And I'm not being paid by these platforms Spree does not pay me to tell you what I just told you about that platform. And I want you guys I won't talk about a platform that I don't know, have personal experience with. If I am talking about that, I'll let you know that that's the case. So you are always going to get the straight scoop on Let's Talk Live Shopping. I'm going to go to Jen and see if there's a couple other questions that we're going to go over just a touch. Let's see. Okay, so when I said Candies is probably the second most common question I get, the first most common question I get, it just came up, is my product right for live shopping? That is, I probably get that every day, in some way or another. Just walking down the street, if someone knows that I'm such a fan of live shopping, I'll get that question. So here's my quick answer, and then I'm going to show you a slide that really demonstrates it. I will tell you, Grommet Live is a great example of this, there used to be the school of thought that, really, unless you're beauty or fashion, don't bother with live shopping. Those do very well with live shopping because there is that kind of tutorial, that, fashions, trying things on and all of that happens. And people tend to, really stay on those shows for extended periods of time. So those are home runs. But then we realized tech is even bigger, because tech, people have so many questions and they want to understand it before they get it home. And so imagine how live shopping's helping the tech industry with returns and things like that. So then tech kind of surpassed, and then food and beverage went way up. I always talk about Fresh Market as kind of the pioneer of live shopping for food and beverage. And it's been phenomenal watching their success and their growth and how the consumer has responded to that. And then I bring up Grommet Live again because Grommet is a sort of marketplace of products by independent inventors and makers, kind of those hidden gem type products, but they cross every single category, from beauty to tech to cooking to, I mean, you name it, they cover it. And when I host those shows, we have products from all the different categories. And I will tell you, there has never been a product that I can't do live shopping with and that doesn't resonate. People love hearing the stories about the products. They love knowing how to use it. And what I love as a host, it's so fun having people in the chat chiming in about how they use it and how they're going to use it. And they're kind of helping each other and helping me in the process. So it's been a great learning, kind of testing ground for me to see that there is no category. I mean, in Asia, and maybe here too, I don't know, but they are selling yachts, they're selling real estate, they're selling very fancy schmancy cars. They're proving that there is nothing that you can't do via live shopping. I'm seeing some charities doing live shopping to get the silent auctions going and things like that. So it's exciting and it is there for the taking. And I'll just end by saying, actually, I'm going to show you that slide that I promised you first, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Here are the top categories in 2025 per the consumers and which ones they want to see in live shopping. And so it's kind of an interesting one to look at, but again, to show you there really isn't a category that you can't do well with. And there's lots of different strategies for the different categories. And again, we can kind of get into that with specifics for each category on future shows. But I want to just wrap up here. And number one, I want to thank you guys so much for being here, for joining me. But I also want to share with you guys that I am doing, and this is actually by request from so many people, I am going to be doing a free training workshop where we're going to dive a lot deeper into a lot of the things that I hit on today. So if that is of interest to anybody, I would love for you guys to join me. I always love doing those because I'm not so limited with 30 minutes on time. And I look forward to giving you guys really actionable kind of takeaway things that can help you get started and help you realize that the fact that I wanted to wrap up with, and my thought is, what I see is, and what I believe wholeheartedly, is that live shopping is the single fastest, single easiest, and single most affordable way for you to build your brand, for you to grow your audience to, worldwide, and for you to create a business that is successful for years to come. It is so easy, so affordable. And I can imagine sitting where you're sitting. If you haven't done it before, you might be thinking it seems daunting, overwhelming. Where would I start? What equipment would I get? Who's going to host it? And so it's analysis paralysis. And so we just don't do it. And so what you're going to learn through Let's Talk Live Shopping, and especially through this workshop coming up. And Jen just put the link to that in the chat. So I really invite all of you guys. Would love for you guys to be there. And it's coming up. It's first week in June. So definitely sign up. I think there's 2 date and time choices that you'll see on there. But what you'll see is it is very inexpensive to get started, and that there is a definite sort of blueprint to being successful in live shopping. And if you know that blueprint and you can execute on it and, follow it, you're going to have success and you're going to have fun. It's so fun. I mean, at first, people that have taken my Live Shopping Academy course, at first, they're so nervous. They don't want to go live. They don't even want to turn that camera on. And by the end, you can't get them to turn it off. I mean, it just becomes really, really fun. So that is my wish for all of you. And especially if you're a brand that is nervous right now with the ad spend that is kind of skyrocketing, with how crowded the e-com space is on these big Amazons of the world. I just feel like this is kind of a golden ticket that's being handed to you guys to be able to stand out and build an audience, build a tribe of followers, of customers, and it's there for the taking. And so I'm excited to help you learn about it. I'm excited to help you actually do it. And I'm excited to help you sift through all of the noise and the different things out there regarding live shopping, because there's suddenly a ton of it, because it's getting so much press right now, and the numbers are really skyrocketing. So now everyone's really wanting to get started. And so there's a lot of good tools and platforms out there, and there's a lot of not so good. So again, I'm going to help you sift through all that. We've got Pacuzzi in the house. Yay. The original skillet steamer. You would be a natural. Oh, wait a minute. That's that's Jen talking. Sorry about that. But I did see Pacuzzi is in the house, and I've been telling her she needs to start live shopping because her product is so great and it really lends itself to that. It's very demonstrable, very problem solution oriented. It is one of those kitchen products. So definitely check out Pacuzzi. There in the chat right there, if you can see that. And so with that, you guys, I just, again, want to thank you so much for being here. And I want to ask you guys a little favor, because some of you know that my YouTube channel was shut down not long ago out of nowhere because I was hacked. And I like to tell everybody that because it can happen to everybody. It took me 12 years to build it, all my followers, everything. And you realize in that moment how powerless you are and how those followers are gone. And there's no way to get back in touch with them unless they happen to find you, because there's no email, there's none of that. And so I have been on the floor in tears a time or two relating to this, because you don't realize the domino effect of having that closed down on you. And so all my videos stopped working, the links to my videos aren't working and all of that. So it's been tough. So I am inching my way back up, trying to build it back up day by day, step by step. So I would love for you guys, if you haven't already, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's now called Let's Talk Live Shopping. Up there it is right there. And Jen, if you can put that in the chat also, that'd be awesome. I don't know if you can do that, but subscribe. Even better is to like it, to share it. And if you enjoyed today, and please let me know if you did, and if there's something that I could do better, because this is my first show, so I want to hear from you guys. So let me know that as well. But the bell I never totally understood for so long, and now I love that bell. Not only for my shows, but I love it for people that I'm really interested in their shows and their content and all of that. I always hit that bell, because what the bell does is it is just going to tell you, oh, Marcy's going live with Let's Talk Live Shopping. You can ignore it, or you can go, oh, I wanted to see that. And you click it and you can go watch. So the bell is great. And they let you personalize the bell as well. So you can just be notified of certain things or be notified of everything. So that would be a huge favor to me if you guys could like, subscribe, and share this show, because I do want to spread the word about it, because I want all of e-commerce brands to know how powerful live shopping can be. If you are an Amazon seller, most Amazon sellers have no idea that they can go live on Amazon anytime they want, 24/7. It's so exciting. So thanks for being here to hear my passion and my excitement. And I hope that you will join me tomorrow night for Grommet Live. That's going to be a fun one. We've got 7 brand new products that are very cool. So that would be a great way, if you are not familiar with live shopping, to kind of see what it's all about. So definitely, I think Jen's going to put that in the chat as well. Or you can find all of this on my website, marcymckenna.com. And as I said before, I'm going to go back and read every question, every comment, and anything I didn't get to, I will respond inside the chat as well, or inside the description. So you'll have everything you need. You'll have links to things that we talked about today. And then in the future, I've got all kinds of resources and things I want to share with you guys. So you'll get links to all of that in each show description as well. So again, everybody, thank you so much for being here. And I will see you guys next Wednesday, if not tomorrow night, next Wednesday, 1 o'clock on the West Coast, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock on the East Coast. Until then, happy live shopping. I need to come up with a tagline at the end. So if you have any ideas, put it in the chat. I didn't think about that one. Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.